Okay, welcome to this simple discussion for some key issue I want to highlight before going to the exam. My discussion is based on 3 questions today. Question 2, question 3, and question 4. You will see other questions later. Now, the first question is XYZ manufacturing industry. And from the examiner, he is insisting that XY manufacturing industry produces 2 products. So the factory produces 2 products. And these products are namely A and B. These products are produced and sold in a constant proportional such that every 6 units of A produced or sold, 4 units of B are also produced or sold. I will explain these weights, which are very important. Number 2, each unit of A is sold at a selling price of TZS 44,000 and has a variable cost of 24,000 shillings, while each unit of B is sold at TZS 100,000 and its variable cost is 30,000. The fixed cost, this is a very big problem. The fixed cost amount to TZS 40 million per month. The fixed cost amount 40 million per month. In this regard, to create uniformity, then this would suggest that even these units are also produced per month, because we should have a uniform reporting framework. Now, before going to my approach, requirement is determined the number of units to be sold so as the determine the number of units to be sold so as to break even and sales revenue at the break-even point. So we are talking about the break-even point. Now, before going to the discussion itself, this is a problem leading to CVP. So this is a CVP problem, the first case. Now, what is a CVP? C, V, and P. This is cost, and this is volume, and this is profit. The term volume means the quantity, number of units. The term profit is well defined. The term cost means both. Both means the total cost, which is variable cost plus fixed cost. There are several assumptions that you can now see. So, variable cost plus fixed cost. Profit is defined. From our lecture before, we clearly understand that before even solving this problem, you should understand what are the CVP assumptions so far. Very clearly, CVP assumption determined as follows. CVP takes all. It takes all assumption of marginal approach, or marginal cost assumption. This is the first stage. But which now assumption? Number 1, you should link that costs are linear, and that cost have to be separated into variable cost and the fixed cost in a linear basis, A plus BX, where this A is a fixed cost and this B is variable cost. I will explain later. Number 2, the CVP assumes that the number of units sold must equal the number of units produced. And that's why the question is insisting that units produced and sold, that is our trick. Number 3, CVP assumes that CVP is applicable to only single units. Only single units. Now there is a term O. If there are multiple products, then those multiple products must be produced using a constant sales ratio. So all multiple product with constant sales mix ratio. So this is what is in our problem, that XY Manufacturing produces two products A and B in a constant sales mix ratio of 0.6 against 0.4, or 6 units against 4 units, in that proportional. Now, item number 4, the selling price. So CVP assumes that the selling price remain the same. The selling price remains the same during the reporting period. So the selling price remains the same. Number 5, CVP does assume that fixed cost. So the fixed cost means the total fixed cost. Fixed cost remain the same within the relevant range. Again, CVP does not accommodate issues relating to change in technology. Anyway, there are a lot of assumptions in this CVP, but for the sake of this problem, I will stop here so that now we move to the question. Based on this problem, based on this assumption, there are two types of how to treat the CVP formula. So CVP is analyzed in two formulas, number 1 and number 2. The first formula is what we call CVP unity basis. Unit basis. Number 2, it is CVP, sales revenue basis. And that's why if we talk about the break-even points, we have break-even point in units and break-even point in a sales revenue. Now, how do we handle the unit basis and the sales basis? In the unit basis, we have two important things. Number one is quantity. Number two is contribution margin per unit. So, two things here. In sales revenue, we have number one, the sales revenue as says, and number two is CMR, contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. So, in general, the fixed cost, as can be seen here, we have fixed cost here, also we have fixed cost here. And therefore, total fixed cost. Also here, total fixed cost. So if we want to write two major formulas of CVP, and that's why all problem of CVP uses these two formulas. So we would write unit basis. The unit basis has its first formula called profit equals quantity. This one here. Quantity times the contribution margin per unit. CMU minus total fixed cost. That is a CVP if you are asked unit basis. Number two, when there is a CVP and consideration is asking about sales revenue basis, how do you handle this problem? So back, CVP is now simple with sales revenue basis. Sales revenue basis. What are the important formula? So the profit itself is defined. Number one, sales revenue times CMR. CMR is also known as CS ratio. Then minus total fixed cost. So we have two formulas in a CVP. Now, having known this, now problem arises. What is a break-even point? BEP, and what was the fact behind? BEP. Now, break-even point arises when the company does not make any profit. So BEP was saying profit is equal to 0. And if you draw the line, you could see the total cost and the total revenue is the same. But we should not go anywhere else. Number one, you have to think having these two formulas. So and that's why BEP also is classified into two. BEP is defined also into two. So break-even points is analyzed in unit basis, and also break-even point is analyzed in sales revenue basis. So, having known this BEP, you should not think memorizing formulas and other materials and creating problems in headache. So you have to go to the first formula. For example, you see BEP, break-even point in units. So you move to a unit formula, direct straight. You see profit equal quantity times contribution margin per unit minus total fixed cost. Now in BP, we have this profit equals 0. So you put 0 here to have quantity times CMU minus total fixed cost. Now once you make this quantity the subject, and then we have a name BP in units. So we have a new name called BEP in units equals. So you make T total fixed cost the subject over contribution margin. This is the formula you have been memorizing all the way. So this is the break-even points in units from the unity basis. Again, if you want to take the formula for break-even point in sales, so you write BEP in sales. So you take the formula for sales revenue basis, which says profit equals sales revenue multiplied by contribution margin ratio or CS ratio minus total fixed cost. So at this point, remember, this item here is also known as CS ratio. Now, break-even point, you take through profit equals 0. So 0 equals sales revenue times CMR minus total fixed cost. So you make the sales revenue the subject, this one here. So this is now BP in sales equals total fixed cost over CMR. Remember, CMR, contribution margin ratio. This is CS ratio in other words. So what I would add here for you to understand, the term CMR equals CS. Again, some people uses PV ratio. Those are the words which are used in different books, and different author would like to use their well-defined names. So this one should not worry against anything. Now, yet we are talking about CVP. Now, in CVP, as I said, so BEP is analyzed. Either you are having a single product, BEP. If you have a single product BEP, then when it is a break-even point, there are two formulas. There are only two formulas. For a single product, we have two formulas. The first formula is the unity basis. And there's another one is sales revenue basis. So you should not worry with this formula because you should not memorize. So the unity basis here, and we have sales basis. The unity basis says break-even point is defined as total fixed cost divided by contribution margin per unit. But on sales revenue, it defines as total fixed cost divided by CMR, contribution margin ratio. This is a break-even point if we have been given the single products. That is, we have two formulas here. But in our problem, we have two products. And then you should be very much aware with these two products, you have to add another root here that indicates multiple products. multiple product CVP analysis here. Also, this one has two perception: unit basis and sales basis. So you write it here, unit basis, and this one here, sales basis. So that's where we need to think. So this is a unit basis, and this is a sales basis. First of all, in order to understand the formula for multiple product CVP analysis, you should think as simple. You write this as TRP here. You write it here, total fixed cost over that's contribution margin per unit. Again here, you write total fixed cost over CMR. Now, what makes the difference is a weight fraction, because if you are having more than one product, you should have a weight by unit or weight by sales. So the weight fraction, for example, you have to multiply weight fraction. Again here, weight by sales. What is WS? Is percentage composition in sales. And W is percentage composition in unit or fraction in units. I repeat, W is percentage by units, while WS is percentage by sales. That is the two formula to be used. So our problem is a CVP analysis for multiple products. So we can't use for the single products because we have been given two products. Now let us see me solve the problem, because now, okay, I have to draw a model. We have a factory here, a model for XYZ. We have XYZ factory. This factory is here. And this is XYZ factory. And this factory has a total factory cost of ZS 40 million. So in this factory, what is happening? All products A and B uses the same machines. So we have inputs in the factory. This is input, then two output here. So the two outputs, one of it is product A, and the second one is product B. So a company uses the same fixed cost, which are produced in a constant sales ratio of 6 units of A to 4 units of B. After production, they are sold. Now, this is a typical multi-product operation. Why multi-product? There are two conditions for multi-product operation. Number one, the products are produced using the same fixed cost, 40,000 million, and they are produced using a constant sales ratio. So, multiple product CVP. How to solve it? I have to show you the following. So, particulars, you have to write here, particulars, then product A, again product B, and then here is FM. Composite, we call it composite. So particular number 1 is units activity level, so units. In this designation, there is a constant serialization of 6 units of A and 4 units of B. In total, we have 10 units for the factory itself. Now, the weight by units, this is a fraction by units in a firm. 6 shares 6 over 10. Product A shares 6 over 10. And product B shares 4 over 10. That is how it works at a start, so that a mat product must have this information before going in any of the procedure. Number 2 is a designated selling price. Selling price of each product. The selling price of each product has been given. For example, product A, product A suggests that the selling price is, let me see a problem here. The selling price for product A is 44,000. So this selling price is ZS per unit. So it is 44,000. While the selling price for product B is 100,000. We can't add the two because these are 2 products. Number 2, the variable cost. So variable cost of each product can also be identified. Variable cost ZS per unit. The variable cost has been given for product A. It is 24,000. For product B, it is 30. Again, you can't add the variable cost of these 2 products. Number 3 is contribution margin per unit. CMU. Again, ZS. So the contribution margin is just the difference between the selling price and the variable cost. So having known this is 20,000, and also this is 70,000. Isn't it? 70,000. Yes, it is 70,000. So after having known this, we should go to weight by units times contribution margin. So you multiply this 20 by 0.6. 20 by 0.6. What is 20 by 0.6? Sorry. So 0.6 times 20,000. It is 12. Again, 0.4 times 70. 0.4. So the contribution is 1,000. The variable cost for this one here, I see. Yes, 70, 28. 28. So you can add the 2 weight fraction here. These you can add them. Easy. To get 12 plus 28, you get 40. Possibly get 40. So from 40, we can now compute the following issue here. Break-even point in unit, it is total fixed cost divided by weight factor per units times CMU. After adding that one, it is TZS 40 million divided by 40,000 here. So BEP in units for the firm equals, you divide 40,000 by that units, 40,000 divide 40 million divided by 40,000. Yes, divided by 40,000 units. So this is a break-even point in units. So it is the same. So we have product A. Product A, product B, product A, and then the firm. The firm, it is 1,000. But product A shares 0.6 and this is 0.4. When you compute here, it's possible you can have BEP in units. So this is 600 and this is 400 units. So we have done in this area here. So BEP in units for the products, break-even point in units for the products, it is 40,000, sorry, it is 600 of product A and it is 400 of product B. Once you sum, it is 100. So the way it works, you can summarize it here. In a summary, that particulars are here. It's very simple to handle it. So we have product A, we have B, and we have firm. Therefore, ratios, weight fraction, 0.6, 0.4. Again, selling price, it is 44 and it is 100. So BEP in units, BEP in units, A 600 and B it is 100. In total composition for the firm, it is 1,000. Again, BEP in sales, BEP in sales. So there, it is easy. You multiply the selling price times the number of units at break-even point. So 44,000 plus 600, we get how much is this? Let me repeat. 44 times 6. So you get, sorry, 44. Yes, 44,000 multiplied by 600. Get 26. These are in shillings. 26,400. Now let's see the rest here. 100,000 times 400. So get 40 million. This is 40 million. So the sales, you add them, 26,400 plus 40. So it's 66. So in particular, we were told that determine the number of units to be sold so as to break even and sales even at break even point. So we start solving now. The number of units to be produced. You write here product A 600 units, product B 400 units. Now sales revenue at break-even point. Sales revenue at BEP. You write from sales from product, sales from product A. It is S 26 million, and you have sales from product B. It is ZS 4 million. So total sales, it is ZS 66 4 million altogether. That was the end of question number 2. So there are some few corrections in this paper somewhere here. The contribution for this number, it was 70 instead of 60. So this is 70, so that this is 70 and this is 40. From there we have 40 here, instead of 36. So this is 28. So far from this formula we have 40, and this is 1,000 units. From there we have 1,000 units here, and multiplying the weight fraction from 1,000, we have 600 units here, 600 units here, and 400 here. From here we have done. So on revenue we use break-even point 600, and our sales in B is 400. The total is 1,000. So when you multiply it here, you get 26. 26, that is 26,400. Wait first, so that I don't miss here. This is 44 times 600, 26,400, yes. And here it is 40 million. That's okay. In total we have 66. What is 66? 400 so far. So we have resolved. So this is 600 and this is 400. Therefore, the given point here is 66. So what is in line with our demarcation? So we have done. Okay. Let us see the problem number 2. Problem number 2. It says, problem number 2, it says, a company makes single product. So this is break-even point in a single product. First of all, the company makes single product with a selling price of 10,000 and a variable cost of 600. The fixed cost is this one here, 60 million. So number A, what is the number of units we need to be sold to achieve a profit of 10 million? So far, solution, it's easy now to go here because we have resolved. So this CVP is now going to 2 formula. Remember, number 1, unit basis. Number 2, it is sales revenue basis. Once you see here in number 1, he is telling us amount of unit to be sold. So this one is a unit basis formula. That's why I say if you can directly understand the problem initially, we move. So profit from unit basis, say profit is equal to quantity times CMU minus total fixed cost. But profit is given, steady S, 20 million. Total fixed cost is given. It is steady S, 60 million. Selling price is given. Steady S, 10,000 per unit. Variable cost per unit is given. ZS 6 per unit. Accordingly, contribution per unit is also given 4,000 per unit. In this ground, we have done. So you can plug in this information to the formula and get the targeted units to be computed here. So profit 20 units. Profit is 20 units. So remember, profit equals quantity times CMU minus total fixed cost. So profit 20 units. So 20 million. Quantity not given. CMU is 4,000. Total fixed cost is 6 million. So you compute this targeted quantity to give this profit. So targeted quantity, it is Q. Q targeted is equal to 20 million plus 60 million divided by 4,000. Let me see from computation. Yes, margin cost, variable cost, but so good. So you compute this here. So quantity targeted is equal to 80 million divided by 4,000. So 80 million divided by 4,000. 20. So targeted quantity is 20,000. Quantity targeted is 20 units. We have resolved part A. Now part 2, it talks about targeted profit against targeted sales revenue. He said there is what is the level of sales which will achieve a profit of 20 million shillings. So he is asking us the sales revenue. How much is this? So remember my assumption from previous that part 2. So we have targeted, we have selling price TZS 10,000 per unit. We have variable cost TZS 6 per unit. We have contribution margin ZS 4,000 per unit. But compute accordingly, you have CMR ratio. The CS ratio is 4,000 divided by 10,000, which is 0.6 or 40%. We have total fixed cost being given as 60 million. And then we have the profit targeted. This is ZS 20 million. Now, what is the problem here is what is a targeted sales revenue. So remember our sales revenue formula with us. So sales revenue formula says profit equals sales revenue multiplied by CMR minus total fixed cost. So profit is 20 million. Sales revenue, it is targeted to be computed. CMR 0.4. Total fixed cost is 6 million. Now what I would say is make this a subject. So sales revenue equals 20 million plus 60 million divided by 0.4. Divided by 0.4. So sales revenue equals 80 million. It is 80. It is 80 million divided by 0.4. So sales revenue is equal to the S 200 million. So after saying this, I'm sure you have done something and you have seen something. So thank you for listening, and for any question, you can phone me this number here. This is my number, reachable. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.